Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name is Nina, and today I will be making Maya Angelou's braised cabbage with ginger from her cookbook, the same one, Maya Angelou, Hallelujah, The Welcome Table, A Lifetime of Memories with Recipes. So I'm going back to this book. I've really learned to love this book. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, for the people cooking with me, I am on page 73. As always, I have my ingredients all set out. My cabbage, chicken bouillon, and my vegetables are all there. And let's go ahead and start reading this recipe to figure out what we're doing. First thing it's going to tell me is it's going to quarter cabbage, remove the stalk, and cover with boiling water. As you can see in here, I have quartered the cabbage, took my knife, cut it right down, removed the stalk, and I have put it in my bowl of which I am going to pour my boiling water on. I have a kettle over here that has, oh, you can probably see it. Over here, you can clearly see my water is boiling. So I'm going to cover with boiling water. I have never eaten cabbage, so this is going to be a first for me. I have dated many men that love cabbage, so it is actually quite baffling to me that I've never eaten it because of that or learned to cook it because of that. So this is going to be a complete first time for me making it and eating it. Um, Quite honestly, if I've ever tasted it in the past, I don't remember it, so I don't know why. So I've got it covered. I want to let it sit for 10 minutes. So I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, so it has now been 10 minutes and my cabbage has been sitting in the boiling water. So I'm going to go on to the next step. Drain cabbage and pat dry in a towel. So here's my towel. I'm going to pat it dry, drain it as well. I did it backwards, but I don't think it matters. Let's pat this dry. And after that, we're going to remove to chopping board and cut into bite-sized pieces. I am excited about this. So just having it in that hot water, it is starting to bring the aroma of the cabbage out. And I will say, I have heard that cabbage does not have the most pleasant smell when it's cooking. However, right now, the smell is not unpleasant. So I am remaining hopeful right now. I'm going to toss this aside so that I can wash it later. So don't panic. Okay. Get my knife and let's start chopping up. Bite-sized pieces, huh? So I guess that means it is to my discretion what I believe is bite-sized pieces, which means it's at your discretion of what you believe are bite-sized pieces. I'm letting you see exactly how I am cutting this. So I know cabbage will wilt down as it cooks. I'm going to grab my pot so I can put it in there. I know cabbage wilts down as it cooks, so I'm going to call these my bite-sized pieces, and you can see my pan, so I'm crumbling them up as I'm putting them in there. Putting it in that boiling water and letting it set, I can tell has made this a little bit softer to cut. So because cabbage is really hard. So I kind of like this method. Never heard of it, but then again, I've never cooked it before either. So not all that surprised on that one. So I'm loving my music in the background today. You can see me swaying and moving because I do love me some Bruno Mars. Um, I don't own the rights to any of the music, so I don't own any of these copyrights. So just letting you know that up front. So Bruno Mars had his concert at Intuit in LA, and they had some major issues with getting that concert started because of computer glitches. Intuit is a completely digital, no cash, no ATM. You have to download this app on your phone, and his concert was delayed for 2 hours because something went wrong with the app, and people were not able to get in, purchase concessions, blase blase, as you know, as it goes. So this, I've told you guys before, I am digitally inept. My kids make fun of me all the time. I'm actually surprised that this channel is still going because this is still a one woman production, and I don't know what I'm doing half the time. So I can clearly see how that happened. So I have never been to Intuit Theater. I will be going later on, but I'm not going to spoil what I'll be doing because you'll hear about it on the show when that time comes. So, yay. All right, I am done with chopping. So, let's go on and figure out what the next step is going to be. So, I removed it to the chopping board and cut into bite-sized pieces. Now I need to melt butter over moderate heat and add the cabbage, the onions, ginger, bell pepper, and the bouillon. Wow! I just put the cabbage in the pan that I was going to be using, so I'm going to have to switch that out real quick. That is too funny. Okay, so I've moved over to my cooking station here, and I'm going to continue to read my recipe. Melt butter over moderate heat. So we're letting this butter melt. So it looks like it's melted, so we're going to keep it going. Add cabbage. So let me just hit that pan and burnt myself. It's kind of hot, but quick reactions right there. Didn't spill anything. You can hear the sizzle, so you know my pan is hot. I used my hand instead of dumping it so that this residue water at the bottom, can you see it? Um, does not go in there because I did pat it dry. It just wasn't dry enough. All right, what else does it say? Add the onion. I used red onion, as you can see. I did it for the color. Um, it just said onion. She did not specify which kind. So I used the red, and also red onions are sweeter, and I like that. Next, the ginger. Right here, it does say on here to grate the ginger, and I did use the grater and grate it. So fresh ginger. I'm loving the smell of fresh ginger. Um, just letting you know that for your reasoning. I don't know what reason. For whatever reason. And bell peppers. So one large bell pepper, and I chopped it up, and then 1 cup of bouillon. So I had my chicken bouillon cube, and I melted it in 1 cup of hot water. All right, saute until tender, but not brown. I am going to let this start sauteing. I'm stirring it up a little bit just to let things do what it needs to do. And I will turn you on and check back every now and then. And let's do this. In the meantime, let's do what New Edition says and just cool it now, okay? Okay, it's been just a couple of minutes. Cool It Now is still playing, so it hasn't been all that long. But I'm making sure that I am keeping this stirring so that it doesn't stick on the bottom and brown too quickly. but I'm going to tell you. So far, this aroma of the cooking cabbage is not bothering me. I smell the ginger more than everything, because it was 2 tablespoons of peeled grated fresh ginger, and I can smell that fresh ginger, and I don't mind the smell of ginger. It's actually really good for your stomach. I really fell in love with ginger during all 3 of my pregnancies because I had all day sickness. Forget the morning sickness. I had all day sickness for like the first good first trimester, if not into the second trimester of my pregnancy. It was bad. I would drink water and puke. I mean, it was bad. So ginger became my friend because it calms nausea. So don't mind the smell at all. I'll return. Doing another check on it. I can tell it's starting to get a little bit tender because the color of it is starting to change. So I can tell it's getting a little bit tender because the color of it is starting to change a little bit. It's starting to get somewhat translucent, which means um, it is starting to get a little bit tender. Even filling it, it's starting to get tender. So I'm going to let this saute uh, probably for about the rest of this song and part of another song. So 3, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, let's say. I'm going to see you back in the middle of another song. All right, guys, I am back. I think this is tender. Um, Grabbing a piece. This tender still has a little bit of a bite to it, but it's a lot more tender than it started out. Um, Definitely can taste that ginger. You can also taste the chicken bouillon. So I told you that I had the dry chicken bouillon, and in the instructions it tells you I needed 1 cup of chicken bouillon for the ingredients. You can buy the liquid chicken bouillon in the store. I keep the dry because it lasts longer. And I dissolved it in the liquid based upon the instructions on my chicken bouillon bottle. So either one, it works. It's chicken bouillon. And it was 1 cup. And that's what I did. So next step, cover, medium heat, turning this thing down. So I have it on high now. So down to medium heat for an additional 20 minutes. See you in 20. So it's been 20 minutes and I forgot to turn on my mic. So I'm going to do the best that I can to recreate what happened. So I'm showing you what it looks like 20 minutes later. And now I'm in the process of telling you some story that was probably absolutely great, but for the life of me, I can't remember anything of which I was saying. So I'm going to just skip past it. So now I'm reading the cookbook and it is telling me to add salt and pepper for seasoning. So that's what I'm about to do now. But first, we have to taste it. So I got my fork and I'm going in for a taste. Ooh, it's hot, so make sure you blow it. Okay. And I'm grabbing the salt or the pepper and I use a pepper mill. So my peppercorns and I'm grinding them in there to what I think it needs from that taste test that I did. And then once I finish putting all the pepper that I believe it needs, I'm going to show you what it looks like. That's how much pepper I used. Next, I'm going to put in the salt. I use sea salt. And I used my salt mill for this one, and I grind in about how much I think based upon that initial tasting as well. Then after I put the salt in that I need, I'm going to stir it all together and make sure it's all combined in there really well. It does appear at this point that I'm telling you another story, of which, again, I have no idea what it is that I possibly could be telling you, but I'm sure it was very interesting. I just don't know what it is. So, moving on. Okay, so now look at that. I gave you a little shimmy, and then I realized my mic isn't on. So, I'm testing it. And I'm going to turn the mic on and pick up where I left off. So, I'm going to skip over all that. Okay, everyone. Season it with salt and pepper as you wish, to your liking. I'm going to take it to the tasting table and finish seasoning it to my liking. Okay, so we are now at the tasting table. I have the pot right there, my salt and pepper as well, and I'm going to dish it out in my little tasting container and find out, do I like cabbage? Is it a possibility that my fear has been over absolutely nothing? Yeah, it's a big possibility because my name's Nina. Here it is. I have my little tasting sample. Let's figure out if it worked. It's just not bad at all. I'm going to add some more salt and a little bit more pepper, and I'm going to taste it again. So, one of the biggest things that I'm still going to say that I am surprised about is it doesn't smell. Actually, it doesn't smell. So, okay, all those people that made me afraid of cabbage because they told me it stinks when you cook it, shame on you. Okay, here's my second taste. My second taste with more salt and pepper because that's what I thought mine needed. I would eat this. I would 100% eat this. Now, for me, I might actually add more bouillon to it. Not more liquid, but I would probably dissolve 2 or 3 bouillon cubes in there instead of the one to give it some more of that meaty chicken flavor with it. This would also be really good if for people that like spice to put a little red peppers in here. That would give it that little kick of spice that you could feel in your throat. So if you're someone who just wants it a little bit more spiced up, that would be good. A little quick addition that you would put in there. Oh yeah, this is good. Now this I will be eating because, as you guys know, I've told you before, I freeze a lot of my leftovers, and I'm going to take out some of Aisha Curry's brown sugar chicken, and I'm eating it with this tonight. Yes, I am. This worked. I am so happy that this worked. I am going to be a cabbage eater, and it is very quick to cook. On top of that, come on. Yes. Okay, Luther, can I take you out tonight? Come to my house. I have dinner. Until next time, everybody, cook with your soul, love with your heart. My name's Nina.